Hi, I'm Representative Muffy Davis with the Idaho State Legislative Update for the week of March 2nd to March 6th, 2020. Flying by, this was our 9th week at the Idaho State Legislature, and as always, a busy week, lots going on. We are narrowing the end of our session. The goal is to what we call sine die, which is finish and adjourn for the session on March 20th, which gives us just about 2 more full working weeks now after the conclusion of this week. So we will see if we are able to get through that. Lots still going on. Unfortunately, no resolution yet on any property tax bills. There are some over at the Senate, and we have yet to see anything be passed out of there. Still a lot of options and potential property tax relief bills, but sitting in chairman's drawers and not actually getting a hearing, unfortunately. So we will see about that. We in House Health and Welfare did hear a bill for Medicaid expansion funding, which proposes to move that 8.5 to 12.5 million back to the counties. So instead of paying for it at the state level, push that funding back onto counties. The House Health and Welfare Committee did decide to hold that bill in committee until next Friday, the 13th. We will see if that is an omen or not, to see what else might be coming out and some other potential funding options, or who knows what we'll end up doing here. We had an interesting week. You've heard here in the legislature, there's been multiple bills that are discriminatory and against transgender community, and they held there was a wonderful human rights rally here in the Capitol this week that I spoke at, just in defense of all people and equality and all different rights. And you may have seen that several different large companies, Chobani, Cliff, HP, and Micron, as well as the Idaho National Laboratory, came out in support of diversity and inclusion and stated that these bills that the legislature is discussing and debating are potentially could be harmful to having hiring employees and for these big companies to attract people to come to Idaho. So hopefully the legislature will hear the words of commerce and understand basic human rights and human needs and stop these divisive, discriminatory, and unconstitutional bills that have been passing through our legislature. So we'll see more. Nothing has officially passed. There are 2 bills that have passed out of the House into the Senate and are waiting further hearing there. Yesterday was an interesting day. The House just tried to kill the Idaho Public Television appropriation or budget, and it was a interesting debate on the floor, again, full of hate and discrimination against different communities. Thankfully, they were not able to kill that budget, and it did pass. But I don't know about you, but I love our public television and think it is a wonderful public asset that we have here and that we provide. It also provides our emergency response, which is a vital resource that we need if anything's going on. Speaking of emergency response, as you are all aware, coronavirus is still spreading and growing, although not a pandemic from what I have heard, but lots of information out there. Well, the governor did come out this week and made a statement on Idaho's preparations and what Idaho is doing. And so for more information on that, they've actually created a full website, and that is coronavirus.idaho.gov. And you can go to that website to get more information about what's going on here in the state of Idaho, what you can do. Overall, same stuff that we all know. Wash your hands. If you're going to cough or sneeze into your elbow, but try and keep yourself clean and sanitary, and hopefully we can limit that spread of that disease contagion all around Idaho. So far we have yet to have a reported case, but I do know that there's been limited testing availability, and so people are a little frustrated and worried about that. But we'll stay posted. As of now, there is a plan. Go to coronavirus.idaho.gov to learn more. there's a great hands-free driving bill. We mentioned this earlier in the year in the session. There were a couple of bills floating around. Well, there is a great bill that has passed out of the Senate, which, while it does preempt local control, it is a really good definition. And I believe our communities that already have those hands-free ordinances will be in support of this bill. It's Senate Bill 1314. If you want to check it out, we plan to hear that in the House Transportation Committee in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we will see some more action and maybe statewide hands-free driving legislation put into place. This last week, we celebrated Idaho Day here at the Capitol, and I had the privilege of being a part of the Idaho Day Committee in the House. And we had a wonderful presentation on the history of women's suffrage here in Idaho, and it was very neat. Amazing history here of women. We actually here in Idaho women got the right to vote 24 years before the actual 19th Amendment was signed in 1920. So quite progressive every once in a while here in our state. So it was a really neat presentation to see, and there's a wonderful bill that the Idaho State Historical Society, a wonderful video that the Idaho State Historical Society has made, and hopefully will be more readily available for people to see about our history here and the great people that came before, and to give us the right, women that currently have the right throughout all of America, but here in Idaho, and how they pushed that women's suffrage movement. Really neat. And just today in the House, we were successfully able to pass what I believe is a really good start for regulating or understanding our current situation and who in Idaho are actually selling nicotine products through vaping stores. So this was a vaping piece of legislation, a bunch of emotional debate on both sides, but overall we were able to prevail and get that bill out of the House, and it is moving over to the Senate. I think this is a really good first step to figuring out who actually is selling nicotine products and vaping products here in the state. It's a registration, as well as starting to curb. Idaho has a higher incidence of youth vaping than nationally, and it is definitely a serious issue and an addictive issue, and our youth are doing it, and we need to do whatever we can to protect those youth, and this is a good first start. So that was a great bill that is passing out and just passed today, so look for that one. And then a fun last little tidbit, we passed this week a bill out of the House going again to the Senate, so it's not full law yet, but if so, it is a bill to allow Idaho State liquor stores to give little liquor samples. So with all the new different types of whiskeys and vodkas and different specialty liqueurs or liquors that are coming out, this bill would allow a small sampling at some of the Idaho State liquor stores. So I think some people might be very excited to hear about that. But with that, again, it's an honor and privilege to be here and be your voice in the Idaho State Capitol. Please keep in touch, let me know, and I will come back next week with more information as we get closer to the end of this session. Thanks so much. Have a great day.